In 1896, Paris was literally awash with the post-impressionist set. Jeff Le Petit Pieux, Alain Frou Frou, and Jean Genet Pinky Pinky Where's My Croissant were all doing exceptional work in this period. Although their art has stayed relatively hidden, even when contemporaries like Gauguin were rediscovered as art became far more snooty and specialist in the late 60s, the mainly leg-based work of Le Petit Pieux, the rare and much sought-after My Wife's Hedge and Other Annoyances by Frou Frou, and Paintings to Kill Woodland Creatures to by Pinky Pinky are still only known by the most hip and pretentious cravat-wearing critic. A small pamphlet about Frou Frou featuring the artist's nasal paintings of 1908 was distributed for a time by throwing it hurriedly at foreigners outside the Hayward Gallery in London by people dressed as giant noses. This worked, at the very least, to keep the tourist population down on the bustling south side of the Thames, but admiration for Frou Frou remains at an all-time low. We're only doing this program because literally every other painter from the early 1900s that I can sound condescending and self-important about has been done over and over again in an attempt to give public broadcasting relevance in this day and age of 30-second memes, Transformer Marvel movies, and the rear end of reality TV starlets. Jean Genet, while languishing in a garret in Paris's famous frilly-bosom district, above a shop mainly used for the distribution of cheesecakes and heroin, painted several canvases of jam-filled pastries, which were meant to convey his desire to get better acquainted with a go-go dancer named Cecile, who enjoyed mustaches, frolicking through the flowers, and licking small dogs, but instead they attracted the amorous eye of a bin man from Luton named Thomas Picnic, who would follow the now furious Pinky Pinky through the streets of Paris, reading naughty limericks at him and buying him pudding. Le Petit Pieux, by far the most prolific leg painter of his day, had a tragic end when he was painting the legs of Princess Dauphinoise Potatoes of Monaco, a rather fetching turquoise, and her guards had him carried off and speared through the chest with a stale and highly sharpened baguette. While most people on the Rue de la Harpe, where he resided in a bucket lined with the underwear of street nut peddlers, tolerated him lurching from the bucket most mornings in an attempt to daub their lower limbs with bright and lumpy colours that he'd mixed the night before in a floppy hat he'd stolen from someone attempting to dress like a playwright and failing miserably, the crowned head of Monaco, and a woman considered at least the sixth most beautiful of the Dauphinoise potato family, did not take kindly to it, and thus would end his leg-painting ways. Next week on Obscure and Irrelevant Painters of the 19th Century, we look at Marcel Waft, who did surprising work in charcoal, boiled rice, and the droppings of goats. Next on Radio Flange Goblet, it's the after-movie diner, which this week comes from a monastery cafe in Minsk where the banjo player has dysentery and can't remember all the lyrics to She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain, but the chef does do a rather nice radish quiche, which is carried to your table on the stooped back of an out-of-work gibbon botherer named Harold. My wife and I went there last spring, and the aubergine is marvellous. Left a bit, left a bit, left a bit. Oh, that's got it! Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the After Movie Diner. And we're back with another splash. And we've got some mail. And I know how you all love mail jingles. So let's play the gosh darn thing and get to it, shall we? Here comes the postman, I wonder what he has for me. Is there something in his big brown sack? I wonder what could it be? Well, I hope the bills it lacks and instead brings me some listener feedback. Or maybe, just maybe, a big bag of crack. Oh, here comes the postman, I wonder what he has for me. So, the mail that we got this week goes as thus. I'm just going to read it. I'm just going to read it right out. Hey John, just listened to you, Farley and Charlie on the making of Slingshot Cops. Boy, you really know your early horror films. I loved it. As you were talking about scenes from horror films, my brain flashed back to them. So awesome. You said on the podcast that if you had to redo a running scene for Cops, you didn't know if you could do it. I laughed so hard. I had the same problem filming Manch Vegas, which is Murders, Monsters and Marriage or something like that in Manch Vegas, another one of Charlie and Farley's films. So he says, I have the same problem filming Manch Vegas when I had to run from Farley in the park. Please keep up your interest in horror films. There aren't many of us left, man. Maybe someday we can talk horror shit, bro. Happy horror days to you and your family. And that was from the excellent and awesome Brian Fortin, who also goes by the character name of Pitt in Slingshot Cops. And Brian's awesome. He's a horror fan from way, way back and used to do a public access show. That's where Matt you knew him from, where he used to cover a lot of these films. So awesome to hear from Brian. Thanks ever so much, man. That's just great. I don't know if I've read this one out, but I don't think I have, so I'm going to read this one as well. It's from a John Millward, and he says, Hi there, just writing in as I don't usually contact podcasts that I listen to as it's a much maligned entertainment media, used and thrown away like so many wank socks, and even though you enjoyed it, it becomes easily forgotten. But not this one. I found you guys on another podcast I love, The Projection Booth, and thought I'll give that movie podcast with Eddie Izzard a try. As it turns out, it wasn't him, but it was a very well-spoken, thought-out, and funny film podcast with a presenter that actually has a bit of personality and spring in his vocal step. How refreshing. So I thought I'd break my silence and give you guys a message to say I love your show and I'm currently enjoying going back through your back catalogue. Keep up the great work. I love it more than my precious sock drawer. Much love, Jono, UK Derby. He also said, P.S. Loved the Ash vs. Evil Dead episode. P.S.S. Enjoyed the episode of you talking with the Trap director about indie filmmakers, as I am one myself. Well, Jono, thanks ever so much for writing in. I'm sorry I'm only just getting around to reading it out. You sent it on November 8th, but I like to kind of compile some mail, so we've got at least one or two to read when I do these little mail sections. Don't forget, if you want to contact the Aftermovie Diner, you can do at hello@aftermoviediner.com or on the telephone number 347-669-0053 or on the contact section at aftermoviediner.com. Or you can go over to SpeakPipe, www.speakpipe.com/aftermoviediner and leave us a voicemail. Go on, contact us. And hello and welcome to this shiny and exciting episode of the After Movie Diner. And I'm very happy to have back on the show and in a booth with moi, the wonderful James Wallace. Hello, sir.
Jim Wallace has got up right you at. The game's a thinking fucker, I know one was like that. Jim Wallace, although we love your rat. The man brought the Monday, he said they want it back.
That was a nice intro.
Welcome back.
Are you working on your intros?
No, I just don't like to say yet another episode because every single episode I say that, you...
Well, I just want you to have, feel the joy, that's all.
Oh, I feel the joy, all right. The joy is spilling from me like a cascade of joyfulness.
See, that's just a bit spermy for me.
It's a bit spunky. I will leave.
A bit spunky and not in a 1920s.
Not in a
90s.
Yeah, not in a. God, she does have a lot of spunk.
She is packed with spunk.
Roger.
No, I don't think they ever said packed with spunk.
That is a disgusting image. That is a disgusting. That's like a kind of Japanese anime tentacle porn.
See, why did you have to go there?
I went there. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why.
I went PG Woodhouse and you went tentacle porn. And you didn't even. There wasn't even like a way station.
No, there wasn't a way. I just went straight into it.
Some people say PG Woodhouse, and you think tentacles.
No, you said packed with spunk.
Oh, I may have said packed with spunk.
Yeah, so that's what That's what
Fair
put
enough.
me there.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Anyway, I'm going to wait till you finish fiddling with the menu because that
Oh, I wasn't finished fiddling with the menu.
crackly noise always.
You like something to drink?
Yeah, can I get a chamomile tea? Thank you very much.
And I will just have a Pepsi or Coke or whatever you have. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
So this week, anyway, this is the story. This week.
Right.
So
this is the trust
This is the story.
Okay.
So for the last, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks, maybe a bit longer, I have been trying to cram, and I'm not going to go any further, but I'm trying to cram, much like one would cram for an exam. As many of the
Not spunk.
Not spunk. I'm not talking about a
This is
spunk
a non-spunk
cramming related story. I've been trying to watch as many films from 2016 as possible because I feel like I have missed a lot of 2016 films. And my feeling was that with the end of the year rapidly approaching, if I was to attempt a top 5, let alone a top 10 movies of 2016 list for the website, I would need to have to see some, because so far 2016 has been bloody awful for films. It really has. Like, even the big movies. We haven't even had like a Jurassic World that was shash, but at least enjoyable shash.
I didn't like Jurassic World. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I wasn't a huge fan, but like, if you're going to make a fourth Jurassic Park,
What were the big films of 2016? Remind me.
Civil War, Independence Day, Resurgence, Resurrection, whatever it was called. There was Batman versus Superman,
Suicide Squad.
those movies.
Okay. So yeah, nothing.
Or
the Bourne remake.
The Bourne rehash or whatever it was.
I should have titled it.
yeah.
The Bourne rehash.
The Bourne rehash.
Warmed over Jason Bourne.
Or Born Free, or Born Again, or
Born Again would have been no.
Born Again. So,
No, Born, colon, again, question mark.
Damon and Greengrass, you were right the first time. Don't bother.
Yeah.
But no, so there was a whole series of movies that came out this year, and I was like, look, to do my due diligence, to do my due diligence. You
know what you're getting?
Do you know what you want, sir?
I need a couple more minutes, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Thank you. I wanted to watch some 2016 movies. So I started to plow through some of the ones that people had recommended to me, like Green Room, Don't Breathe, a couple of others, indie ones that I hadn't got round to seeing. And I also watched some of the big ones like London Has Fallen and Independence Day, Resurrection, and some other ones that were quite fun. But again, they're not really top 10 list movies, you know what I mean? They're not ones that you're going to look back at 2016 and go, thank God that was the year that we got to see Independence Day rehash, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Although I quite want to see that one because I suspect I might actually quite like it.
No, there's a lot of fun to be had in the London Has Fallen and the Independence Day rehash. Lots of fun to be had, but they're not top 10 contenders. I watched Hunt for the Wilder People, which was, it's good, but...
Who's that? I don't even know what that is.
It was Taika Waititi starring Sam Neill about the foster kid, overweight foster kid who kind of has an adventure in the woods with Sam Neill.
I know what's good. That I saw yesterday, which I think was 2016, was Sing Street. That was really good.
No, I saw Sing Street, but again, like, it's by the guy who did Once and Begin Again with Knightley and thing, and I like his stuff. But it's all, you can do it if you try, Roger. It's all that kind of.
Yeah, but to be fair,
the same old. And it was well done. Look, it was well done, but it was nothing new. And considering this is his third or fourth film, and all of his films have revolved around a musician who kind of likes a woman, or a woman who kind of wants to be a musician,
yeah,
whatever.
To be fair,
it was all a bit.
No, but to be fair, I the reason I like Sing Street so much, and the reason maybe why I had a different experience to it than you, I'm just saying, is that when he
was actually starting up the band, and they were playing in the living room, and they were writing songs together.
Right.
Like that was all total flashback stuff for me, and it was.
No.
Actually the really powerful message for it was less about like the the girl thing and all the rest of it.
I totally get that. I totally get that. But then my issue with that is my rebuttal, if you like, would be that. And I understand this is maybe the nature of soundtracks and wanting to sell soundtracks and la-di-da-di-da. But like, there was no. If the film had been more about that songwriting, or at least one scene had been about like a scrappy version of their songs, but all their songs were like incredibly polished. Like I didn't believe any of it.
Well, it's true, but I feel like that was more. The reason is, first of all, the movie's not going to fly if the songs are crap, so I can understand that.
But they have to be crap, but they could be like garage band style versions of those songs, and then on the soundtrack, go fucking hog wild with your organs and your Jeff Lynnes.
But you're forgetting something really important, which is when you're in that band playing in the Scout Hut or whatever, like I was.
No, you think that's how it sounds. No,
so that's legitimate. That's my point.
I get it, but you have to have at least a couple of tracks where they sound a bit ropey to at least evoke that. Like so in the sequence where they're playing in the thing and he's waiting for it to come through the door and then it bursts into a big like Hollywood style dance number.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, and that's absolutely fine. But when you're making like a scrappy video down a back alley or whatever, and it should have had a little bit more rough around the edges. And look, Begin Again had exactly the same issue. Like, Knightley's voice was even with the sounds of New York City in the background, the songs were too polished and whatever. But there was a certain fun to that, and I enjoyed the performances, and I enjoyed Ruffalo, and I enjoyed it being in New York and some of the like thoughts around it. And I thought it was a slightly better movie than Sing Street, because Sing Street is like teenage commitments. But anyway, let's not get sidetracked on a whole.
It's true, but I just want to say, I understand why you'd think that, but I had a much more visceral and personal.
Are you ready to order anyway?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're ready, Chief. Thank you.
Sorry, man. Can I get the Cubano Kellogg's?
Which one?
The Cuban. The Kellogg's Cuban.
With fries or without?
Without.
Thanks. For you?
I'm going to get the popcorn shrimp. And can I get a plate of disco fries, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
He's been super grumpy. Yeah. What was I saying? Okay. So.
But moving past
that. So I've been watching a lot of 2016 movies. Anyway, somewhere along the line, I was like, I wonder what Nick Cage has been up to. So I looked on the Netflix. And saw this ridiculous thing with Elijah Wood and him wearing an enormous mustache. And I was like, Cage, mustache, Elijah Wood, who both with Grand Piano and was it Cooties, the one he produced and was in about the kids who become zombies in high school,
I never
whatever,
saw that one, but
which was actually like a lot of fun. Like considering the idea was actually a lot of fun. I thought I could give that a go. Like, who knows, right? So I did, and I personally was incredibly pleasantly surprised. And I believe I told you I thought it was the Bagman of 2016.
Well, so I have two questions about The Trust.
Okay.
So my two questions about The Trust are, firstly, I remember when it came out and the reviews were pretty sniffy. Like I saw like C- and D's for it.
Right. But it didn't come out in the cinema.
No, it got released. It had that like simultaneous like VOD and
right.
release. Yeah. It may have been one of those ones that we wished had come out in New York, but didn't. I don't know.
Right.
But I remember basically reading quite snippy reviews for it. Right?
Yes.
That's my first question. Okay. So my second question is, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Is my question. Because I'm willing to bet the same people are all sniffy about it. All like, oh, the death of the fucking mid-budget Hollywood film. Oh, it's all superheroes now, and there aren't any good movies about superheroes. What the fuck? This is that movie. Like, The Trust is like, and I know it's like, it's obviously like.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I thought you were about to like.
No, I thought it was. I liked it. So I liked it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like the shot at the beginning and the 70s music. I thought, okay, that's cool. Then there's the Elijah Wood bit having sex. I was like, okay, I'm not sure about this. And then when he focused on the mole in this kind of like bleaked out way, I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Nick Cage just waking up, like looking in the mirror in the morning, was like, okay, I think I'm going to really enjoy this. And then everything from then on, I had like a couple of plot point quibbles a bit.
Right.
But basically, I thought it was really good. And just like The Bagman, it made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Like 6 or 7 times.
Yes. So before
Well, I
we
thought
go,
it was great.
before we go any further,
But seriously, what the fuck is wrong with
I don't know,
people
and I don't know.
moaning and bitching about
Because-
too many superhero movies? And here's this well-made.
Yeah.
So, like, give it some credit. They clearly had no money. They got like Jerry Lewis involved, and like it was, it was tight. It was tense. It was funny. It was original. It's Nick Cage being as good as he's been since The Rock.
yeah.
Right?
Well, because they
Elijah-
let Cage be
I have
Cage.
never rated Elijah Wood. He was so good in this movie. He was brilliant. It was just a really fun, good time movie. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't understand.
But
Where's the D? Where's the, like,
Right.
why are you getting sniffy about this? When
Because
all
it's
you
Nick
do
Cage.
is bitch.
Because it's Nick Cage,
All you do
and
is-
because they
it's
sit
so
there.
lazy. It's like The Bagman. So it's just laziness.
Right.
you know?
No, completely. And it's literally a Nick Cage or a John Cusack movie comes across their desk, and instead of watching it on whatever merits it might have, which we've done. I mean, I even found stuff I liked in Frozen Ground, the one that they're in together, and that's fairly awful. But like, I still found things I liked in it. I found that we both found things we liked in The Number Station, and
Yeah, I like The Number Station.
what was the other Cusack one with the serial killer detective, him and a bird going around trying to solve a crime? Even that was all right. But like Bagman stuck out because to us it was a really nice flashback to those little crime movies that came out in the 90s on video in the kind of post Reservoir Dogs wake.
yeah.
And done really well and stylishly and had a sense of humor about itself, but also told a decent story. And the reason why I called The Trust the Bagman of 2016 is because it kind of does the same thing.
Yeah, it does.
It's a very small scale crime story. It's not trying to be above its station in any way at all.
No.
And it rests solely on 2 charismatic leads and a strong, funny script.
Yeah.
That is more about the characters and less about the plot.
Agreed. Yeah, I think one of the strengths of the whole film is they don't miss an opportunity to try and be funny. Like
Right.
if there's a moment where they go, "Hey, we could have a laugh here."
So to counteract it, for example, because I was just the one that the critics have gone, ballyhoo over has been Arrival. Everyone has been going fucking nuts about Arrival, and the plan is to cover the Arrival with a friend of mine from Brooklyn, Joe Yannick, on the show. So I won't go off too much, but I would imagine, based on what Arrival was, you could, even though I would imagine it was fairly low budget for a big alien invasion movie, it was probably fairly low budget comparatively. You could still, I would imagine, make 3 The Trusts for what they spent on Arrival, and I would rather 3 The Trusts than 1 Arrival.
Who directed The Arrival? Isn't it the same?
It's the same dude. It's the Quebec French-Canadian director who did The Prisoners with Gyllenhaal and...
oh God, I had no desire for that either.
which was another, it's going to be 2.5 hours and bleak and kind of handheld, and everyone's going to be like sweaty and gross and sit around and bemoan existence.
I'm going to punch your comfortable brain in the face with my nonsense, over-the-top, melodramatic horse shit.
Yes, exactly. No, it was exactly that. And Arrival was that, but with aliens. Anyway,
Yeah, fuck
so
that.
I think I learnt a long time ago, even though people call me a film critic, I'm not. I'm a film fan. There's a difference. However, I think I learnt a long time ago that professional critics, certainly the people who are, the Eberts of the world, or the people who write for the Eberts of the world, and the fucking broadsheet critics for the newspapers that are
the
dying.
Guardian
of
one is
I learned long ago that they have ceased to be able to find the joy in fucking anything.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, thinky, extraneous drivel about, man's search for a place in a bleak world, if it isn't that, they won't write a decent fucking thing about
Well,
it.
I think a lot of it's got to do with the fact that they need to write more reviews, because people, especially online, they read film reviews, and they also, I mean, I know I do. I tend to read more like reviews of D movies than I do of A movies, because I feel like sometimes, like Independence Day, when I read the Independence Day Resurgence review, I remember thinking, oh, actually, that sounds like I might enjoy that, even though it was in the middle of like a D movie. Thank you very much.
Prize coming up.
Thank you.
Independence Day Resurgence, the quick capsule review is, it's exactly what you think it is, with a few moments where you're like, oh, I'm really glad they did that.
Yeah.
And a few moments where you go, I don't give a fuck about the problems of young, pretty people.
Oh, okay.
So that's it. Like, there's a whole bunch in it where you're like, just Liam Hemsworth should come on screen at the beginning and then be gunned down, and the rest should just be flabby old guys. Thank you so much, Jay. Punching aliens in the face.
I have to. So okay, so let's talk about.
So anyway,
Let's talk
the
about
trust.
The Trust.
Should people watch it?
Yes.
It's on Netflix. Yes. And I think that
It's only an hour and a half too.
It's only an hour and a half. It zips by. It's to all intents and purposes, it's a little heist movie where the cops are the criminals. But that is really just a very loose frame to hang like a whole bunch of character coolness on.
If I was to be more specific about it, and I don't mean in terms of getting into detail, but because one of the things that initially put me off about the movie was the whole it's a heist planned by cops, because that kind of like I wasn't interested in that for whatever reason.
Right.
What it actually is the police force is made up of a significant number of insignificant people.
Right.
People that catalogue evidence, people that look after property, people that bag things and file paperwork and what. It's like a big part of the police force. And the idea of the film is, what if two of those guys, who are just sort of behind the scenes Johnnies, basically, like the equivalent of like roadies for the police force, spot something that the police miss. And initially you're not completely sure, right, that are they solving the crime in order to kind of prove themselves to the higher ups?
Right.
And somewhere along the line in the movie, in a really non-specific way, it just kind of morphs gently into them just taking for granted that no, they're just going to rob the place.
Right.
And there's never like a moment when they go, hey, should we rob it instead? It's just like, why are they doing this?
Well,
and then it seems
there's also a wonderful thing at the beginning about without it all being desk slammy or preachy or a lot speechifying. There's a wonderful thing about like the politics and the personalities involved in the police. So you have this whole thing where like Cage has noticed something about this one crime that they're all working on that he goes up to excitedly tell his superior about, and instead his superior is like, yeah, shut up, go down to the lockup where we've got a John Deere tractor that we pulled in on evidence and it's about to go up on auction, and keep it aside for my son-in-law, will you, or whatever. Like,
no.
So Nick Cage is like, well, wait, I'm far above that, but now I've been reduced to just like going to do this for my superior.
Yeah. And Elijah Wood's, lost, and they're both just like, they're the bottom of the food chain of the cops. But what I liked about it, and
Elijah Wood is this like younger but skeevier and kind of like, well, if I'm going to be a cop, I might as well use it to like smoke pot and bang hookers, because that's about.
But that's the thing. They're not really even cops, are they? They're just. Yeah, they're like roadies, is what they are. They're not. They're not detectives. There's no glamour. They just wear like polo shirts and chinos.
Right.
What makes it so fun is there's no big like dramatic moments where they're like, "Are we doing the right thing?" Or
Right.
It's kind of like every now and then Elijah Wood will be like, this sounds complicated, and I'm not sure I could be bothered with complicated.
Right.
Oh, it's just such a great thing to like not do a heist. There's no moral thing. It's like this is too much like hassle to me.
Well, also the fact that like there's a feeling that Nick Cage has been waiting his whole life.
Well, we don't know, do we? That's what's interesting about it. Is we're unsure. Because one of the best things about the whole movie, right, in my opinion, is that on the and I don't even know if this is on the page or whether this is just something that like Cage decided because like, well, I'm the name of this film and so I'm going to have some fun.
Right.
Which I suspect it might be.
Right,
But-
although
but-
it is.
But
It's a first-time script by two brothers who may also be trying to make their mark. Anyway,
yeah, true. But what I'm saying is, with regards to Cage's character, rather than being like a put-upon guy who like gets in over his head, like a William H. Macy Fargo character,
Right.
which he could have been. You know what I mean? Like, that could be
Yeah.
it. Instead, it's like there's a feeling that he's obeyed the rules and done the right thing all his life. Like that thing that he gives to his superior, the thing I talk about, it's like a spreadsheet, justifying like a new way of like doing his job that would be like sleek and modern. He's trying to impress, and everybody's ignoring him.
Right.
And then, as the film goes on, it's not that he becomes more and more of a badass. It's more like he's really enjoying himself.
Yeah.
He's really enjoying what he's doing, and he's becoming like more himself in the freedom that like disobeying the rules and not giving a shit about people and just going and doing something for himself has released this like almost new personality,
Right.
which is like Cage plus is basically the personality.
I think that the little bits that are Cage are like the sequence where he has Elijah Wood map out the apartment in white tape on the floor out the back of the warehouse.
Right.
And he comes out and has decided, as some sort of method actor thing, to spend the entire scene putting on way too much sun cream on his nose.
Yeah.
So there's this scene that's like tangentially about, well, this is the heist and da-da-da-da-da, this is what we're going to do and so on and so forth. But really it's about the fact that Elijah Wood is like, this took me rather a long time to do. And he kind of wants, in that way, like that kind of hopeless way, he kind of wants like recognition for the fact that he spent hours taping this fucking thing out. And Cage is just like, I'm going to do the scene as it's written, but I will be glooping on
So that's the
way
thing.
too much sun cream on my face.
And it's funny, and it's not like distractingly funny, and it's not like quirky Coen Brothers funny. It's rooted in character. Mm-hmm. Elijah Wood's like not entirely engaged in anything, and the more engaged he gets, the more worried he gets.
Right.
The more freaked out he gets. But there's just delightful bits. The bit where
they call up the Germans for the drill, and the
That's
German
right.
translation is the guy's like, oh, this guy wants a diamond drill. He's like, oh, they're probably bank robbers, and the other guy goes, cool.
yeah.
Like, I really like that.
I love the when Elijah Wood leaves early to do the, I think, surveillance or whatever. And okay, I'm gonna leave you in charge. He goes, but I'm not qualified. Who gives a shit? I love like his whole attitude to his entire job. He's brilliant.
Well, also,
But there is like a swap, right? There's a big.
Okay, guys?
Yes,
everything's
lovely.
great. Thank you so much.
There's a swap at the beginning of the movie. Like Elijah Wood is the cool one, and the one who's kind of like enjoying what he's doing. He's enjoying tailing. He's enjoying being significant. He's enjoying not doing his job.
Right.
And he's enjoying it. And Cage seems a bit more, I don't know, like the same old Cage. And then up to the point when he goes to meet the drug dealer, which by the way totally took me by surprise. There's bits in the movie as well. It's not just like, oh, Cage is goofing around and there's some funny lines.
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, here comes a little spoiler alert, I'm singing spoiler alert, here comes a little
Sorry, could you stop singing spoiler alert over and over
singing
again?
spoiler alert, spoiler
Sorry, could you
alert,
please
no,
stop singing
it's
spoiler alert over and over again?
Spoiler alert,
Stop it!
spoiler
If you don't stop it, I'm going to strangle you!
spoiler it's better.
The bit where Cage shoots the drug dealer, spoiler or whatever, really that shocked me. And I
Right.
was like, oh wow, this is now going to become a totally different movie. There's no way they're going to, because there's bits of it that's almost like, reminds me a bit of like 80s comedies, like Dreyfuss and Estevez in Stakeout. Or
Right.
Like, there's like that element to it, and it could have been that movie.
The montage of Nick Cage working in the hotel was unbelievably hilarious. Yeah.
That was so good.
Like, what I liked about it was Cage, like, unlike your Bruce Willis or unlike your who else has become a big name who just can't be fucking arsed anymore? Well, Cusack, to some extent, can't be fucking arsed anymore. But, like, I love it that Cage still finds that glee in the roles. Even if he has to take 10 shit ones for every one good one, I will almost accept that. Because, like, when he's good, he's so fucking watchable.
His line in this movie has got to be one of my favourite all-time Nick Cage lines ever, which is, "What does it take for somebody to split millions of dollars with you?" You know? I love that line.
Yeah.
It's such a good line.
I read one review that said some of the Cage moments, like when he was talking too much driving along with the gun dealer,
Oh yeah.
were a bit too much. But I'm like, I'm not sure, because I think what it was trying to do was it was trying to show that inside Cage's character there was this like little excited kid that he was doing something, and let's not like beat around the bush, something clearly like a little psychotic as well, like he's getting off on it as well. And that's definitely part of the story as well, you know. He is like a drug addict, only his drug is planning and doing this heist, because by the time that later on in the movie Elijah Wood, because when they break into the apartment that they need to drill through the floor of into the ceiling of the vault.
Should we do like a quick, like a very quick, I guess we've
Sure. No, I was just going to say, but basically at one point Elijah Wood wants to back out.
Right.
Because of mitigating circumstances with the heist. And Cage's reaction, that screaming scene that everyone's kind of quoting and doing gifs of and everything else, while it is very Cage, it also makes sense because it's at this point where, like, it's been fun and games for him up until this point, like killing people and drilling holes in and smacking people around and tying people up and screaming and shouting and playing the badass. Like, he's loving that.
Yeah.
So for that little cog in his machine to suddenly like fall apart, his flip out makes total sense if you follow the obsessive compulsive personality or the drug addict style personality.
Yeah,
I
I think that scene in particular as well, I think what's great about it is, you know, he is treating Elijah Wood like a child. You know, It's like he's tried reasonable argument. You know, he's tried to point out, look, we've come this far, don't be daft.
Right.
But it's like, it's what he wants. And of course, in that moment, there's a gulf in what Elijah Wood has sacrificed and what Cage has sacrificed. Because like Cage has sacrificed everything. You know what I mean? His own soul, basically, for this money.
Yeah.
Or whatever's on the other side of this door. And so once, you know, he's prepared to argue reasonably, he's prepared to talk to him, when it becomes apparent that it's not going to work, he treats him like a child.
Yeah.
Just give me what I want, give me what I want, give me what I want, give me what, just do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, it's a perfect encapsulation of absolute frustration when you know you have to get your way.
Yeah.
And there's this person in the way.
Yeah. So just to fill in the plot points very quickly, we've spoken most about it, but to do the heist, they have to go into an apartment that is above this hidden vault and drill through the floor.
So some kind of neat, they basically spot, right at the beginning of the movie, Cage spots an odd fact, which is that a nobody has been bailed out of a drug charge with a 200 grand cash.
Right.
Cash. And he's like, who the hell has pockets that deep for like this nobody? And then they follow the guy, and he's really a nobody.
Right.
And in following him and in Cage going to come to the hotel like we talked about, they discover the existence of this place that they know stuff is being brought there, valuable stuff. They don't know what, but it's valuable and it's not leaving.
Right.
Elijah Wood finds the plans. In that brilliant bit with, are you trying to do something illegal? When as soon as he slams his hand down on the phone to stop her calling, to check his story, and he doesn't know what to do next, she's like, are you trying to do something illegal? It was so good. And then finds out, they built a vault, and that's, as you say, there's an apartment above the vault.
And research has shown that if anyone does live there, it's like one guy, and they can subdue him easily, and he shouldn't be a problem, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But when they get there, really the only wrinkle in their plan, but it's enough of a wrinkle to obviously, like, turn Elijah Wood completely off, is that it's not just one guy, it's a guy and a woman. And the guy is a lot more aggressive and confrontational than they expected. And Cage has to kill him.
She's quite a famous singer, I
Is she?
understand. Sky Ferreira. I don't know any of her stuff, but I think she's quite famous.
Right, and the assumption throughout it is that maybe she's a hooker or a friend or something. Like
I think the assumption is hooker, isn't it? Like that's,
Yeah, the
she
assumption-
like denies all knowledge of the guy.
Right, the assumption is that she's not affiliated with whatever's going on.
Right.
And we won't, like, but essentially that unravels at a certain point.
Yeah, the girl is the cause, basically, of their plan unraveling, in the sense of how Cage and Elijah would decide to deal with her.
Right,
Is the wrinkle in the plan,
right.
as well as what they find in the vault becomes for Elijah Wood more trouble than it's worth,
Yes, it's not like
because
easily,
of how much it's worth.
it's not easily stealable bonds or cash or jewelry. It's something that you would need to be a professional fence to be able to make any money off.
And it's so much,
It's so much, yeah.
and it's so
millions.
clearly and organised, because I think that's what the title refers to more than anything, is the room. It seems to be like a place where people's illegal wealth is converted into like easily transportable and storable,
Yeah,
goods. Thank you. And clearly it's going to be there's so much of it there. This is not just one guy. This is like a bunch of people using this drop-off
It's a syndicate,
point.
yeah.
It's a trust, as it were.
and it could be casino wealth, it could be drug wealth, it could be mafia wealth,
it could be everything. It
everywhere.
could be like the whole town. I mean, conceivably, it is the whole town's
Right.
wealth. Elijah Wood wants nothing to do with it, and this is where Nick Cage is. What does it take for someone to split millions of dollars with? And Cage starts Elijah Wood speculates, and again, this is what's great about the movie. He speculates, how long have you been planning this?
Right.
How long have you been waiting for somebody like me to come along? And there's a feeling of like, yeah, he's like taken like this but I don't think he has been planning it. I think he noticed it, and as soon as he noticed it, and as soon as he thought, maybe I'll do this, his whole personality changed, because he didn't realise it, but he'd always wanted to.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't realise.
And it doesn't. What's nice about it is it doesn't have to labour the point. We can sit here and speculate.
No, there's a lot of that, which is great. There's a lot of
Like if you
it's
had,
breezy.
there's two ways to look at it. Like you could have a backstory where Cage's character is this nerdy little loner who also watches like loads of crime movies and thinks to himself, wouldn't it be cool if? Like you could have added that.
Yeah.
But what does it really tell you about anything? And it would be a wasted scene and.
Yeah, and that's it is. It's an
too
hour and a
much.
half. It just
Oh, it's so
and by the
lean.
way, how
It's
tense.
so lean.
The bit from the moment they
Break into the flat. Yeah.
they pull up in the van
Right.
is like unrelenting tension, and I haven't experienced anything like that. I know it sounds kind of weird, but for a long time.
No, I haven't
because
been any movie
I
that's very-
genuinely didn't know. I kind of wanted them to get away with it,
Right.
obviously, in that kind of 80s comedy way. But equally, there was like the dark 70s side of it, where Cage has gone too far,
Right.
And the cosmic law dictates
Right.
that he cannot get away with this. So there's this tension between these likable guys.
You didn't want Nick Cage to get away with it and Elijah Wood to die. You wanted if anything, the other ending would be Elijah Wood gets away with it and is seen sitting on the beach and Cage dies. But
which is kind of what I was expecting, but it was so tense, and they're so obviously tied together.
yeah,
Their fates, which again, now that I think about it, was so neat. But thinking back to that tension I was feeling, anytime, even when they were separated, anytime one of them was under threat, they were both under threat. So they were both always in peril. So that idea of Elijah Wood deserves it, Cage doesn't, is totally. You realise you're watching a film where that is unworkable.
yeah, it doesn't even. Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's never going to be that.
Not
so
without
what's it
making
going to be?
huge leaps, yeah.
So what's it going to be? And that tension, when he's doing the, and all he's doing is opening the safe, and Cage is looking the other way, and it was so tense.
I know.
Oh, I thought it was great. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It made me laugh. It was frightening. It was exciting.
Yeah.
It was unbelievably tense.
And I think it's one of those. It in a weird way, it almost benefits as being, the fifth or sixth in a row of movies that Cage has done, because your expectations going in are so low.
Although mine were quite high because you told me it was good.
Right,
You'd really enjoyed
yeah,
it.
okay.
And I still, from the moment that opening, it's just the opening shots and the music, I thought, oh, I think I'm going to like this.
Yeah.
This has got like a nice feel to it already.
I would watch The Bagman and this as a double bill
Yeah.
of an evening. That would be really great.
Yeah, they do.
Like,
do have some.
This is one of those that I would buy.
I do hope you're enjoying this After Movie Diner podcast all about the Nick Cage and Elijah Wood film The Trust. But you already know that. You've already listened for 35 minutes. Why all of a sudden is your podcast being interrupted by me flapping my chops around? Well, it's two very reasonable requests. It's just about supporting the After Movie Diner. Why not hop on over to patreon.com/aftermoviediner and check out our whole new Patreon page. There's a brand new comedy video that tells you all about Patreon. There is some awesome rewards that involve t-shirts, free download of my albums, mugs, all sorts of good stuff. We'll read out a promo, we'll let you have a sponsored by credit. It's just awesome. There are so many cool things about Patreon. And now would be an excellent time to just remind everyone how the After Movie Diner is made possible by the following wonderful people over at Patreon, donating anywhere from $1 to $10 a show. We've got Jason Ritter, Eric Foster, Rich Dalzotto, John Wallace, Ben Stoddart, Cole Reel, Robert Long, John Smythe, Peter Osmond, David Brighton, James Muriel, Candy Goad, Chris Salt, Jennifer Hurren, Mark Burns, Mark McDonald, Hamble Wallace, and Jim Wallace. Yes, all those people are either supporting or have supported the After Movie Diner on patreon.com. That's patreon.com/After Movie Diner. And to them we say thank you. The show would not be possible without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Add your name to that list and get yourself some sweet, sweet, sweet exclusive Patreon rewards. Take a look. And the other thing I would ask is, as this is the Christmas season and you may be doing some shopping online, or maybe you know a birthday early in the year and you'll be doing some shopping online, or maybe you're just that kind of person that doesn't like to go out and you shop online. Well, all I would ask for you to do is bookmark aftermoviediner.com as amazon.com, so that when you click on amazon.com on your bookmark tabs, it takes you to our website and you just click through the Amazon label on our website and that will take you through to Amazon. It is literally one extra click, and for that it costs you no extra, but Amazon give us a kickback for advertising. It is the very, very best way to support us. It is completely free as far as you're concerned. So bookmark aftermoviediner.com as amazon.com. When you click your bookmark tab, it'll take you through our website. You'll go, wait a minute, why am I here? Oh yeah, Amazon. Click on the Amazon banner on our homepage, go through to Amazon, make your purchase as normal, and we get a little something for it. Costs you no extra. That would be wonderful. If you could do either of those things, that would be amazing. If you could do both of those things, then, well, I'll come round and kiss your bottom. Well, I won't do that. I won't actually do that at all. But I will thank you a lot and send you gifts and free things. So anyway, enough of all that. Back to the podcast. But thanks for listening.
One day I will own The Bagman and The Trust and watch them back to back, because they're just both like you say, they're just movies you don't really sort of see anymore.
No.
And I tell you what it is, and I tell you, like, we've had this conversation just about the world at large and all the issues that are in it at the moment, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but like, the reason why these movies are as entertaining and as enjoyable for us as they are, they have a fucking sense of humour. They have all the character and the style and all the rest of it, but they have a sense of humour, and it's not a look how clever we're being sense of humour.
Yeah.
And it's not a I've used a bunch of
and funny,
right?
And silly. Like there's a lot of silliness.
From
is that guy getting a hand job? kind of hard to tell because he's eating. You know, it's like a little bit of observational.
Right. I think that was the same bar as well as they used in Fear and Loathing for the lizard scene.
That was what was nice about it. It was when it go like
because it was filmed in Vegas, by the way.
When Elijah was like, I'm going to go because this place is freaking me out. There's that you think back to that moment in the bar, and you think, yeah, like why is Cage hanging out in this place? Why does he know this place? And what's the deal with the lemon and the hot sauce? And,
right.
There's all these things that, you know, as it goes on, you start thinking back to where's all this come from and how long has he been this guy? And,
right.
You know, it's dead interesting.
Yeah, and it's very, very cool. And I think that one of the things that has recently hit me, and it hit me both about this movie, but also lots of movies that I've liked. But it came into my head from Slingshot Cops, the Charlie and Farley movie, and I said it last week on the diner, and that is any of the people in their movies, Charlie and Farley's movies, could sustain a movie unto themselves. Like all the characters are interesting enough, or at least have enough of a base setup that you could extrapolate a film from. And it's something that Wes Anderson does very well. And it's something the Coen brothers do very well. And it's something, you know.
I could have used so much more of like Nick Cage and Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, totally.
I could have watched like a whole sitcom based on those.
On those two, right.
Know?
So
he had like 2 scenes and he was great. And that bit where Elijah Wood goes, "Your dad seems upbeat."
Yeah.
And Nick Cage goes, "Yeah, it's good." And there's a whole story there about
him living with
what
his
he's normally
dad.
like.
Yeah.
What did he used to be like? And is his dad a criminal, or like did his dad used to be a corrupt cop? Is that where this came from? And it's like there's so much unsaid.
Yeah.
But that makes it brilliant.
And I think that, you know, someone questioned why even have Jerry Lewis in it.
Oh, but he was great.
But I think that's the point.
Well, because
the
they probably
point
only had him for like an hour or whatever. He's only in that house, but he's terrific.
But the point of having him in it is it gives you that backstory where you're like, well, wait a minute, who is he and why are we not seeing more of him and da-da-da-da, if you're so inclined.
And then Cage's transformation doesn't become so like, oh, he's just being Nick Cage. It's like it's tied to something.
Yeah, and so my rule of thumb will always be now to stand back from a movie and go, could any one of those characters in that movie sustain their own interesting story?
Yeah.
Because, again, to go back to Arrival, and I'm not going to harp on it too much, but not one, not Amy Adams, not Jeremy Renner, not Forrest Whitaker, not anybody in that movie had a character. Not one of them. They had story bits,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They had what it needed to tell its story, but not one of them was a character. I couldn't tell you what music any of them liked, what books they would read, and I don't mean that you would have a scene in a movie where someone goes, I read this book, by the way, but what I mean is when you know an interesting character, you go, oh, they would be into this, or they would like that, or they would wear this, or they would go here. You just know it because you've met that person or because you've seen enough weird characters or read enough books or whatever it is. You would just know.
Right.
And you're able to create that world in your head when you're watching the movie. With Arrival, Jeremy Renner and Amy Adams, and it's not because it's a huge CGI fest, by the way, it's incredibly dull, but like, they might as well be 2 fucking cocktail sticks with olives on the end, as much as, with people going bah, 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 underneath the screen. Like, they might as well be Muppets, like, nobody gives a fuck. Whereas this, the reason why I keep bringing it up, is that this just had chock full of character.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to do very much to get it.
No, she had a whole ton of character, and all she was tied to a radiator.
Right.
He had like when you realise when they open that closet and you think
The hidden closet, yeah.
He's oh dear.
Yeah.
So does that mean she's
Oh dear. Yeah, right? And that's like the only reason
and it makes total sense too.
Right. The only reason you have such tension is not because there was like some amazing build-up whereby one of them has a sick aunt they have to get home to or something. It wasn't like, oh, I care so much about these people that there's suddenly tension. It's just that it was well written, and
it was well shot too.
It was well shot,
the
and
pacing was perfect.
You were generally, like, you were on the edge of your seat because you were generally looking forward to seeing how it played out.
Yeah, or terrified, but
Or
still,
terrified.
you know,
Right.
gripped. You were
Well, because
gripped.
it was that kind of tension. It wasn't, any minute someone's going to leap out
I
and
tell you
scare
what,
them or
one
blow
of
their head off.
One of the
It's-
best examples of what you're talking about is like one of the nicest shots in the movie, where Elijah Wood goes up to supposedly take care of the woman,
Right.
but instead turns around and points a gun at the doorway. And Nick Cage is going to come through. And first of all, it's a really interesting shot, like the way the doorway looks. It's kind of like, it's quite Gilliam-esque.
Yeah.
And when it's just like blank and he's just waiting there and you've got the blank doorway, the part of me is like, maybe he's not coming back. Like, maybe he sent Elijah Wood up to take care of the girl and now he's legged it.
Right.
He's spotted that Elijah Wood's not into this.
Right.
He's spotted that Elijah Wood's not going to want to take care of the girl. So he's going to leg it. Please let him leg it. I kind of want him to leg it.
Yeah.
And all this is going in your head, and all you're doing is looking at a blank doorway, and it lasts long enough, exactly long enough that you think maybe he's not going to come back.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he does. But and all they've done is just like shoot a doorway.
Yeah.
And because Elijah Wood's not in the shot, you're not thinking about anything except what's about to come into that doorway.
Right.
That's it. And it's really tiny, but it's really tiny.
For this to be, and I didn't look into it, but I think I read somewhere that this was certainly their debut feature. I mean, maybe they've made ads or shorts or whatever.
I would think they must have done something to get Elijah. I mean, I guess they've got one of them involved.
Well, it's a really good script is what got them involved.
Yeah.
And maybe they've written a couple of other scripts, I don't know. But like, for this to be, I mean, I've heard it compared to the Coen brothers tangentially, and there is certainly that comparison.
Yeah, but I like them because they're
But
more real
like-
than sometimes Coen brothers movies.
No, they're
like,
too- they're very stylistic,
The
but
cartoony nature
this
of the
was a little
characters
bit
can be a
more-
little wearing.
But I hope, this is the problem, is that a lot of snooty critics go, oh, it's the next Nick Cage thing and it's a heist thing and who can be bothered? Which does this movie a massive disservice. Because if there was any justification in the world, these are the people that you should be saying, all right, we'll give you 30 to 50 mil to make your next movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
And we'll promote it as...
Yeah.
We'll promote it like we would promote the next, Matt Damon produced thinky drama starring Casey Affleck looking out to sea and weeping over Michelle Williams. Like,
Although that is supposed to be very good.
no, oh, God, Michelle Williams.
No, I
she
agree.
needs to do a movie
Casey
where she
Affleck and
doesn't
Michelle
like
Williams, but they're not miserable.
weep all the time and be miserable in bleak New England locales. Give me a fucking break. Like, can we have a movie where that doesn't happen, please? I have no interest in seeing Manchester by the Sea whatsoever. But it's been promoted to death because they want it to be... Because they're looking at 2016 and they're going, what are our Oscar contenders exactly? Like, who's giving us any awards for anything? All right, push this Casey Affleck thing on people. Maybe the,
Well, to be fair,
maybe the
you don't
blockbuster
want to see
crowd
it.
would
Maybe you don't
want
want to see it, but
No.
it played the festivals and it got really, really good buzz because people really liked
I'm
it.
sure, yeah, because whatever. And then you've got Arrival, which is the what do they call it? Sleeper hit, which is the one that comes out of nowhere, and people are like, we weren't expecting this to be a huge hit, but it is.
Which is kind of why I want to see it.
Yeah, it's kind of why I wanted to see it. And do you know what happened? Within 15 minutes, I was fidgeting in my chair, and I was like, oh, this was a mistake. And then there was a moment in the middle of the movie where I'm like, maybe it wasn't, maybe it wasn't, maybe it wasn't. And then 10 minutes at the end where I was like, well, it was a mistake.
Yeah, but see, I mean, I had the same thing with, like, I think sometimes with films that, especially nowadays, right, and I don't know whether this is just a function of getting old, and I suspect it might be, that there's a way of going, okay, well, but am I going to enjoy it even though I've, like, seen it all before? And, like, people said good things about Jurassic World, right, but I thought Jurassic World was unremittingly stupid. Like, I didn't
it was,
like,
but it was...
No, but I didn't like any of it.
It was exactly what you were
But I
expecting.
didn't like
No,
any of
you
it.
don't. That's absolutely fine. But like,
But that's
it
what-
entertained me enough that when they got the T-Rex out at the end and you saw her running around, you were like, oh my god, she's going to get the T-Rex. That I was actually like involved in that ridiculous
But that's fine,
showdown.
and that's fine.
In
I'm
the
just-
way that I should be about.
I'm just saying,
a
I
monster.
might feel the same way about Arrival. I have my
Right.
doubts. Actually. Yeah, no, we're all.
Oh
done.
no, we're all done. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have my doubts about Arrival because I'm always very wary of people who make earnest dramas making sci-fi because I think they're quite snooty about sci-fi and they think that its only redeeming feature is they get to make heavy-handed parables using it. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what's happened to the right. But nonetheless, I might like it. And what I'm saying is, like you can enjoy Jurassic World despite the fact that it's not very good, and lots of people can enjoy Jurassic World despite the fact that it's not very good, is because there's something in it that like grabs their attention, and like clearly people want to go to the cinema, right? And people are prepared to watch. Like I know that like Chip quite liked Captain America: Civil War, and I'm like, I don't like it's fine, but wasn't it a bit dull? Like
Captain America: Civil War was awful.
Wasn't it a bit dull?
Yeah, it was awful.
And,
from start to
not
finish,
make any
it was
sense.
awful.
I didn't like. I'm.
Do you guys like something else?
No, I think we'll
we're
just take
all
the
right.
check.
We'll just get the check. Okay, thanks. I didn't think much of.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I quite enjoyed the first half of the Winter Soldier one. Kind of. But I mean,
The last great one was Iron Man 3. You won't convince me of anything else.
What else is there?
Oh man, anyway, but
Anyway, I guess my point is that these days, people go to the cinema, and there seems to be two kinds of movies now. There's either like big, dumb, stupid blockbusters, or there's medium budget, earnest,
crap, arty.
message films.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that there's like we have one that's slightly off the topic here.
The cop who pulls up who might have rattled them. That
The
so should have
security
been.
guard.
Yeah, that so should have been a cameo by Ernie Hudson
Yeah, but it was a great.
or Louis Gossett Jr.
Maybe, but I the reason I like that bit so much of the movie is, again, there's so much going on in that little moment.
Yeah.
There's like Elijah Wood getting to be like the hip cop that he kind of wants to be. Then there's a security guard who presumably has also always wanted to be a cop, but it's like way past like time for that's ever going to happen. So there's like this kind of respect there, but also this like natural suspicion from just presumably just driving around the area. That means he's not quite buying this bullshit. And then that bit where the whole end of the conversation, you don't see it, you just see Cage pointing a gun at this guy's head to see if he's. It's so good because you're like, it's like you're watching as an audience member that scene, and you're watching for, is this security guard going to twig what's going on?
Right.
All it is going to be like a tiny expression on his face, like, I don't completely believe this guy.
Right.
For it all to fall apart. That's all it's going to take, is a change in this guy's expression.
Right.
For it all to fall apart. Because all you've got to do is make one phone call. You know what I mean? So changing, and there's Nick Cage pointing a gun at his head from miles away, and all it is I'm just waiting for your expression to change.
Yeah.
And to sit there and watch this like nice, kindly old guy who's just doing his job, and to know that his entire fate rests on
And that's why
what his next facial expression is going to be.
That's why the whole
amazing.
That's why the whole plot, and to some extent Nick Cage's whole character, starts with him eliminating the gun dealer. Because if you know that he's capable of doing that,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
you are then on edge
Yeah.
because he could botch this up in so many ways.
Yeah.
But a wonderful film. I hope people check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's
It
really
was
well
really,
written.
really,
It's
really
very
good.
entertaining and wonderfully acted. And I do hope the brothers who made it long and happy careers making similarly intriguing and enjoyable films. Because we were talking about earlier, like just how it doesn't matter what piece of news you see anymore. It is bleak and hideous.
Yeah.
Whether it's a little bit of a Facebook post or whether it's actually reading a newspaper or whatever it is, it's staring into a void of hideousness.
Yes.
And the one thing I need to make myself not go spare is something to enjoy.
Yeah.
Like legitimately just enjoy and embrace. And of course, like it comes from friendship and loved ones and family and all that, blah,
but
blah,
it
blah,
also
blah,
comes
blah.
from,
But like
your
sometimes you
entertainment.
want to be
choose
entertained.
You need, yeah, we all need good stories.
And I think that's one of the things about Ash vs. Evil Dead that I love so much is that when I've heard Campbell speak recently, he's talked about your worthy TV shows and your examination of the human character and all the rest of it. It's all very well, it has its place, definitely. But I want to be entertained. And I don't really care. Like, for 30 minutes, I'm going to come into your living room and I'm going to entertain the hell out of you for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Even if it's silly or crass or rude or
This is
weird
me
or whatever.
And, me and Teresa's one of our favourite new shows is the NBC Timeless one, the time travel one, which is really.
I haven't even heard of this one.
It's called Timeless.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
We get ABC, so I watch a lot of ABC shows. We don't get NBC.
Oh, well, NBC. So the story is basically that the black guy from Peep Show builds a time machine
Right,
and it gets stolen.
right.
And the people who stole it have stolen it with the express purpose, basically, of ruining and changing American history for the worst.
Right.
Right. And then they send back the prototype time machine.
Yeah.
So the one that's been stolen is just like sleek white metal, like oh, it's so groovy.
Yeah.
And then the prototype, the the heroes of the show showrunners is like junky, like crappy, it's just nice,
Right.
And the idea is they have to go back in time and make sure history plays out the way it's supposed to. Oh yeah, no, we'll split. That history's supposed to play out the way that it's supposed to, which frequently means they have to like make hideous things happen. Like in the first show, they have to make sure that Hindenburg does crash. Like,
Oh wow. Okay, that's
like,
a really
kind of fun
interesting.
thing. And one of the characters is a black guy.
Yeah.
And all the jokes for the first like 5 or 6 episodes, like there's a line in the first episode where he goes, when he's trying to get out of being sent back, because he's the only like guy that can pilot the machine. He goes, I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm black, and there's literally no time in history where that's awesome for me. So all the way
Which
through
is
the show.
that's a joke from Hot Tub Time Machine, but yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Well, in this one, it's
I think unless they stole it from that. I don't know.
no, unlikely. But the point is that whenever he goes back,
Yeah.
how people view him,
Right.
through the different ages. Like in the 60s, he's invisible. He's like a waiter, and he just doesn't exist to these people. So he's able to like get away with all this stuff. Going, see, I'm invisible. And in the Civil War, it's like the way people look at him. It's just, it's
That sounds
just really,
that
it's
sounds
really
kind
interesting,
of interesting and
fun,
daring for NBC.
And but it's and they've got
Is it streaming on like Hulu or anything?
yeah, it's on Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Maybe I have to watch it.
And the two pretty people in it, because obviously it's
There has
like
to be
him
pretty
and
people.
there's two pretty.
Right.
They're actually likable and charismatic.
Yeah.
Genuinely. But the square-jawed guy is like good actor, quite funny.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a solid like B+ every week.
No, I get it.
Sometimes it veers into A- territory, but it's really fun, And I'm being truthful, like this is great. This is just what we want. I don't want to be watching, super serious drama or whatever. Although we are really enjoying Westworld. But that's kind of. By the way, one reason you might like Westworld is it's not a remake. It's not a reboot.
No, I know.
It takes place 30 years after the events of the movie.
And-
Like they refer to the last time the park went peculiar.
Right.
So in that sense, it's not, and it's exploring a whole other
No, I get
different kind of thing. But anyway,
there's I don't know what it is. There's something about me that whether it's Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Westworld, whatever it is, I don't know whether it's because everyone tells me to watch it or whether it's just that I don't have. There's the long form, slow burn play out of some of these ideas that even if by the 10th episode it's getting really exciting, for whatever reason I either don't have the time or I actually don't have the patience or the sensibility
yeah, that's fair enough.
to
It
kind of
does-
get
it
to
does-
that point.
Yeah, like Westworld is that kind of thing, for sure.
Right.
Whereas Timeless is much more of your every week,
And
something exciting.
it's
and funny and
definitely
cool's happening.
the sad byproduct of the fact that you work 40 hours a week and then Kim and I have certain things that we do and have to do. Then I run a website, so I have a whole other
Right.
second job. And then there's travel, and then there's family commitments.
Well, to
and
be-
there's a lot of-
yeah, to be
so,
fair, like, that's-
I don't know.
That's why the trust is good, though, isn't it? Because it's like one of the things I liked about it was
Yeah.
I had a really
90 minutes in and done.
This plays in quite nicely what you're saying. That night, I had to do laundry. I had to write a thing. But yeah, so anyway, I had a night where I had laundry to do, I had stuff to write, and I just about got ready. I had to go and get food. I was ready to sit down and watch the movie at like 10.
Right.
It was the first time I had like a free moment. And if
Right.
it had been like a 2.5 hour movie, I wouldn't have been able to watch it. It was like, and it was so, and despite as soon as it started, I was like, oh, like the music happened, and it was just like, oh, and the little pan across it was an interesting shot of like modern America. Not to get like too pretentious, but it was like, it wasn't like consciously aping the 70s. It was like trying to be off its time.
Right.
It looked kind of like, it's kind of busy, but also kind of a bit run down.
Right.
I think that whole building might be for sale. You know what I mean? Like it was a bit like, this is what Vegas is like now. And I don't know, I just felt like immediately
I have to, having lived in Vegas, I have to assume it was actually filmed there because it felt very real to me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people understand that, like, Vegas is... No worries. Vegas
and it was very grimy. I like that it was in
Vegas
the
is like
90 grimy.
Well, Vegas is 90% suburb. Like, the Strip is literally it.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is all...
I like they were doing this thing in this vault, and conceivably, like, they were almost in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though it's surrounded by stuff.
Oh, no, I mean, like, you go a couple of roads off the Strip or even off downtown and you are in nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because some of the worst parts of Vegas in terms of poverty or crime or drugs or whatever it is are the immediately surrounding areas of either the Strip or downtown.
Yeah.
Actually, as you go further out, the suburbs become more affluent again. But like if you're directly 3 or 4 blocks either way of the Strip, it's not good. Because literally people limp from the Strip having lost everything and turn to what they need to.
Yeah.
It's a bleak place. I mean, it really is a bleak place.
It comes across like that. It was an interesting way of shooting Vegas. Because I think you're right, it did feel like it was filmed there. Because it was mostly empty.
Yeah.
And kind of...
And also, the other thing that is very interesting is that if you ever want to know just how fake a supposedly like affluent place is, you only had to see the collapse after 2008 and the fact that the bottom dropped out of Vegas like that. I mean, if you could have, I was there, like we left, and it was almost like one of those scenes in, like the end of the Crazy remake, where they're driving and like a whole city is just being detonated and collapsing and people are like running and that. Obviously I'm exaggerating, but if you had time-lapsed 6 months in 2008, 2009 in Vegas and time-lapsed it and condensed it down to 2 minutes, it would have literally looked like people fleeing, rats fleeing a sinking ship. Because it was all built on credit. Any house that was in Vegas at that time was built on credit, and it all came crumbling down. It was pretty mad to be like a part of that.
Yeah.
It was weird and Wild Westy and bleak and yeah.
Well, I could see why you would want to set this movie there. That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Because it is like the difference between, now that I think about it in that context, it is the difference between the haves and the have-nots is really stark in Vegas, and it's geographical. Like you say, it's the Strip, and then the places are right next to the Strip, and it's like them. They are the places next. They are next to the police.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're next to the glamour and the certainty.
Right.
Like, their whole lives are just drift outside of, even like the mean, corrupt cop, of which you sense is like there's a lot of them. But even them, like they have certainty of who they are and what they're doing. But Wood and Cage have like no certainty, and you feel like maybe that's what's taking Cage over.
Yeah.
And maybe Wood too. Maybe the longer it goes on, the more certain he is that he doesn't want to be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, it almost like, had it been set in 08 or 09, or 09, 010, that would have been like really would have put the cherry on the cake for me, because I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Set that story at a point where literally there's no other alternative or hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing, by the way, that I thought was to tell Elijah Wood's entire backstory in 2 shots, which is him picking out a sweater from a box and mopping up a cat's hair with it.
Yeah.
And then him tapping his wedding ring on the fence.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we get of his past life. And it's all laid out there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool, very economical and awesome, and everyone should go watch it. Thanks, Jim.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Being the guest this week in the After Movie Diner. And to next time.
Yeah, long may the Nick Cage, John Cusack films keep rolling out.
Yeah.
As long as you put them in the cinema and we'll come watch them.
We will, even if he does block me on Twitter.
Who did?
John Cusack.
Did he?
Yeah, he blocked a whole bunch of people on Twitter. Listen to the latest Matt Farley episode with me on it, because I explained the whole story. I'm not going to do it again here. But, yeah.
Fair enough.
I found out during the Cubs winning the World Series, I was like, oh, I wonder what John Cusack's tweeting about. And it was like, you've been blocked. I'm like, why did I get blocked by Cusack? I don't tag him in anything. He must have just gone through his friend list and just gone, nope. And just like blocked a whole bunch of people.
That's what I do.
Or unfollow them or whatever. I don't even think he was following me. He blocked me and he wasn't even following me. I never tweeted him. Like, it made no sense. But yeah, it did. So there we go. Anyway, thank you for being on the show, sir.
Thank you.
No, you must. Oh, you must. Oh, you must. Oh, you must. Oh, my darling. Must watch the trust. Oh, yeah. Oh, you just. Oh, you just. Oh, you just. Oh, you just. Yeah, you just gotta. Watch the trust. Oh, yeah. I said, don't let Nick Cage mustache fool you. Oh, don't let Elijah Wood height bother you. Don't let the fact it's on Netflix color your judgment of the film. Oh, you'll go bust. You'll go bust. You'll go bust. Oh, you'll go bust. And baby, you'll go bust if you don't. Oh, watch the truth. Watch the truth. Oh, there you must. I say you must. I say you must. I say you must. Oh, baby. I say. Watch the truth. Just watch the truth. Nick Cage may have a history of atrocious films. But don't forget, Nick Cage also has a history of being awesome. And sometimes when you watch one of his films on Netflix, you don't know which Cage you're gonna get. Oh, maybe you'll get the bad one. Oh, yeah, maybe it will be awesome. Oh, it's a must. It's a must. I don't wanna hear that you can't be fussed. Oh, baby. Ooh, oh, baby. Please, so watch the trust. Oh, watch the trust. I don't want to hear. Oh, you can't be fussed. You can't be fussed. 'Cause baby, you must. Yeah, baby. Baby, 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 baby. Oh, watch the trust. Oh, watch the trust. And don't let Nick Cage mustache bother you. No, don't let Elijah Wood hype bother you. Don't let the fact that it's streaming on Netflix color your judgment of the film. You must. Don't wanna hear you can't be fussed. Don't wanna hear you can't be fussed. Because oh baby you must. Oh baby. Oh, won't you sit down and watch the trust through everything. I could have cussed. I could have cussed. It was so goddamn good that I could have cussed. Oh, baby. Woo. I'm talking about the trust. Talking about the trust. Talking about the trust. It's a must. It don't go bust. Oh, I don't want to hear you can't be fussed. It's the trust. That wind is a gust.